up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get a city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get a city love. I'm in Toronto, Mike. We wanna get a city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1740 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Toronto's Waterfront BIA. Check out what's happening on Toronto's waterfront this summer. Blue Sky Agency, the official distributor of Silence Quiet, comfortable and customizable office pods. Create sanctuary within your workspace. Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball. Get your butts to Christie Pitts this summer for the best baseball in the city, outside the Dome. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. Today, making his Toronto Mic debut is writer, musician, and comedian Ashwyn Singh. Welcome, Ashwyn.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Do friends call you Ash, or is that forbidden? Does it have to be Ashwyn?
Ash is actually more somewhat acceptable. Usually when they say my full name, then I have to be like, that A at the beginning is a U phonetically, the way people say Usher. So then it becomes Ashwyn, but it's weird to call somebody Ush. So Ash is actually fine.
So I said it wrong. It's Ashwyn.
Ashwyn.
Ashwyn. Okay, try it one more time. Say it one more time.
Ashwyn.
Ashwyn. So it's like, yeah, like Usher.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, you just say that. Hey, I'm like Usher, except I'm Ashwyn. Okay, honestly, it's a pleasure to meet you. I played some of your stand-up, while we were waiting for you. There's a live stream at live.torontomic.com, and I just played some of your sets, your stand-up. And already rave reviews because Burlington Rob, who I know better as Rob Pruce, do you know the Spoons, the 80s new wave band out of Burlington, Ontario?
I'm so sorry, but I don't.
Okay, don't apologize to me. You're not alone. But the keyboardist for the Spoons in their heyday was Rob Pruce. So Rob Pruce says that stand-up I was playing was excellent.
Oh, thank you, Rob.
So already rave reviews for you're already in the funny category.
My audience is keyboard players and drummers.
Drummers are a little crazy, right?
Yeah, I think they're the closest to the comedian in the band because they get annoyed and then they don't know how to tell people.
Oh, interesting.
So then they beg things.
Okay, you're going to tell me everything I need to know about comedians in this episode here. What neighborhood of Toronto did you come from today?
I came from Regent Park.
Okay, so how long have you lived in Regent Park?
2 years now. Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Canada?
9.5. Well, I was here August of 2014. So, and then I was gone for about a year in the middle. So yeah, about 10 years.
And where did you come from at Ashwyn?
Oh,
Ashwyn. You know what, Usher? I'm going to struggle with this the whole episode, so I'm almost begging you to let me call you Ash.
But, I said do it.
Okay, Ash.
I said that's
my apologies.
Acceptable.
Ashwyn. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you come from?
New Delhi, India.
What do you like? I mean, we're going to get into it. What made you want to get into stand-up? We're going to talk about some of your observations. I've pulled some clips. We're going to talk about the music. We're going to talk about Desi translations. But what do you think of Canada now that you've been here several years now? What are your thoughts on our country here?
Oh, it's easy on the eyes. If you just got rid of your big brother that you keep learning from that does terrible things, it would be fine.
Is that Doug Ford?
No, America.
Oh, the bigger brother.
Yeah, I'm releasing something tomorrow where I ended up talking to like 200 old white people in Prince George. because I was doing a show for the Prince George Council of Seniors, and I was like, everything America does, you do 10 years later. That's why you're doing racism now.
Oh. So, do you think Canada's doing racism now?
I mean, it was more of a joke. They've always done racism. This is not new. It's just the target has shifted, which is fine. I get it.
Do you find it again, Prince George? I think that's like the hub. Like that's like the middle of British Columbia. Prince George. Like I think of geographical center is Prince George.
It's just very northern Canada, more so than But I think there are parts of Canada where you go which seem like they're not old, but how do I say this? It's like people say you shouldn't go to small towns. Small towns are racist, and I'm like, no. It's in the small towns, everybody knows who the racists are because they all speak to one another. Right. In Toronto, they can hide on YouTube behind keyboards, present company excluded. But in Prince George, you just land and some guy picks you up and he goes, "Don't go over there. That's where the racist lives." Like it's that simple. So I enjoyed it.
So I'm curious about Toronto specifically here, since it's really it's a fact that it's the only place I've ever lived in my entire life. That's how exciting I am. Born in Toronto and still here. I'll probably die here, for goodness sakes. But you would think Toronto, being so multicultural, you'd feel like this city would be less racist. But what's your experience with that?
I think per capita it probably is. It's just in person. It's like New York. Like there's so many people that when it's that many, as the population of a city gets too congested, people start keeping to themselves on the street, but they're that much more active online and on social media. It's weird. Like there is far more people in Toronto that you could run into in a 5-mile radius and in Prince George, but the percentage of people that say hello to you is higher in Prince George than it is in Toronto.
Oh, I can see that. But I feel like if you live in Toronto or even work in Toronto and live in the 905, if you don't like brown people, you're going to have a bad time.
And this is true of most of the world, Mike. Anywhere you can go, if you dislike brown people, you're going to have a bit of a tough time. Because there's nowhere in the world you can go and say, "Oh, there's no Indians here. We will come."
That's not a threat. That's a promise.
It's weird because here's the thing. I think the one thing that sometimes gets lost in conversation always is what culture is, right? Because like one common complaint that people always have is like they're changing our culture or they're not of this culture or whatever, something like that. And I'm like, well, answer me this. What is culture is as much people as people are culture, right? People participate in culture and shape it as much as culture is supposed to shape the next generation of people. So if the population of a country is 50% one culture, then how much of that is going to seep into what the culture is today?
Right.
So if you really want, and I don't even think this is a good idea, but if you really wanted to keep that tight of a hand over fist, I don't want my culture to change, the way to do that would be to correct the immigration numbers before they happen, not complain about it after you have let people in because you had like a declining labor market.
What are your thoughts? We're going to get into, why you got into comedy. We're going to talk about these Desi translations, these videos I've been watching. They're quite wonderful. Like I'm going to play one and discuss that, and we're going to talk about where you're at, what's coming up, because I know you're doing something with, maybe right now, shout out, are you doing something in the near future for Just for Laughs?
Yes, September 24th, I will be doing my very first headlining show for Just for Laughs Toronto, which should be fun. Comedy Bar Danforth, which is very nice because it's the room I've played most in my life. I think it's really nice. You know how they say, like, dress for the job you have?
Right.
Like, I got that show and I was like, this is in the same room I have sold out 4 times over the last 2 years. This is the room we should do it in. Excellent.
Comedy Bar. Great room. And Just for Laughs, I'm just happy to know there's still a Just for Laughs.
Yeah, if you had ever asked me at the beginning of my career, between you and Just for Laughs, who do you think will go bankrupt first? I would have picked me. I would have picked me.
But it's, I mean, obviously you're headlining on September 24th. So, because, what is it Mark Twain said? Reports of my demise are greatly exaggerated, something to that effect. But Just for Laughs, still breathing.
Oh yeah. Well, I think comedy is always going to breathe, right? So I'm glad that it's back. I'm happy I'm doing it. It's better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never.
And I don't even think I am late. I'm still a comedy baby as far as most professionals are concerned. I just I'm happy to be on.
Because I've had stand-ups come over who were like royally pissed at Just for Laughs. Like I'm thinking now of FOTM. FOTM, by the way, friend of Toronto Mike. Ashwyn, you're now in FOTM. Did I nail that, Ashwyn?
Yes, you did.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to just remind myself to turn that A into a U. I can't fuck it up now. Ashwyn, Simon Rakoff was very vocal about Just for Laughs and some royalties with Canada Laughs on Sirius XM, and he had a very specific agenda with Just for Laughs, and I think maybe he was doing a little bit of a jig when there were reports of Just for Laughs filing for bankruptcy, like he had won this battle. But Just for Laughs still plays an important role in the career of stand-ups like yourself, right?
Just for Laughs
Real talk
is a celebration of success that has thus far gone unnoticed, more than it is kingmaker that people seem to think it is. I don't think, like, here there's 10 people on new faces at Just for Laughs. I know all of these faces. None of them are new faces to me.
They're not new to you.
Yeah, some of these people have been doing comedy for 10 years, 9 years, 8 years. They were people I asked for advice when I was starting stand-up. So when industry says something is a new face, they mean this person is an old enough face that people already know about them, but still unnoticed by the majority of the world, which right now, that describes every successful comedian under 1 million followers, which is every successful comedian. Right. Because with the niche sort of Instagram social media fame that we have, 200,000 followers is the minimum level of recognition required for your profession to be feasible. Which means, so like in my room, in a 150 people room where everyone has come to see me, everybody goes, oh, you're famous. And then, but as soon as I leave that room and I'm sitting on the subway, I don't have to worry about being mobbed or anything. So I'm not actually famous. I just have the minimum recognition required. And if you don't have that, you're most likely not doing JFL either. Right? So it's just like, Just for Laughs is great to have. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, if I didn't have it, my life would go on.
Okay, like, so on that note, so for example, on your official bio, so Ashwyn, I've been reading your official bio, and it's got Canada's Got Talent in there. It's got The Debaters, great CBC show. I've had the host on this show. Big festivals, the big ones like Winnipeg and Halifax. So, I guess, is it fair to say that stand-up aficionados in this country know the name Ashwyn Singh? They got the wrong name there, but Singh.
Nope. If you ask
like
Steve,
what level of fame do you think you have?
I have friends and I like them, and people who stand up I admire. So I could tell you, like, I can count on like my two hands, like the people that I have met that I admire, that mutually we have respect for. Then there is industry I respect that has met me once, and I think I did a good job, but I have no clue if they remember. Like, I loved my Debaters episode.
Yeah.
And I think people remember it, but if I met Steve Patterson again, I don't know if they would remember. But I know that my debating partner, Lisa, I'm forgetting her last name. Sorry, Lisa. But Lisa would remember. She gave me a big hug after. And she was like, oh, you did great. They're going to book you a lot. And that was the last I heard.
How long ago was this booking The Debaters?
This was the Winnipeg Comedy Festival year before last. So 2024.
Do you want me to make a call to Patterson? I don't know. Maybe we get you back. I'm serious, because he doesn't live that far from here. And he's, like I said, he's also an FOTM. I'll make a call for you.
Sure.
I just think you're funny.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that's half the battle when it comes to stand-up. You got to be funny, right?
Yeah. I distinctly remember I had like one too many arguments on my debater set because it was a little bit longer. but the audience was really on my side. Like everything I was saying was getting an applause break, and I distinctly remember like, looking at Steve and Steve looking at me and me going, "Let me have one more." And he let me.
What was
have
your
it.
topic?
It was whether actually you might have already seen the stand-up that it came from, but the topic was standardized testing and whether it should exist.
Okay, and what side were you on?
On the side of no, it should not.
Did you win this debate?
I did.
I produce a show for Humble and Fred, and Howard Glassman, who's the Humble and Fred, he's done the debaters a couple of times, and he's still kind of irked that he lost both times. Like, this is still bothering him. So good on you. It's
actually very funny. There's a show in Toronto called Your Hood's a Joke, which is a territorial roast. So it's like India versus Canada, Pakistan versus India, and then there's two comics on stage, and the Indian guy roasts Pakistan and the Pakistani guy, and vice versa. And so I have lost every roast that I have ever been a part of, but I have won the debate.
right.
Like this is, and I'm like, so people are, I basically am better at debating than I am at being funny.
Well, I'll be the judge of this. Okay. So born and raised in India. So why do you move to Canada?
I got my university degree from Waterloo. I got a computer science degree. And then immediately after I got it, I quit to pursue stand-up.
Because I'm also interested in when you decided that you wanted to be a stand-up comedian. It's not for the faint of heart, this decision. So did you have family here, or was it like, why Waterloo?
No, it was honestly, I applied to university in, I think, 4 countries. I did America, India, here, and I believe the UK, we applied to a few. I got into 1 or 2 in the UK. I got into another 3 or 4 in the States. And then we just kind of did a cost-benefit analysis. But the cooperative program from Waterloo meant that I could kind of pay off some of my tuition myself while in the middle of my degree.
Right.
So then that was the best option.
Okay, so it wasn't because you decided I'd rather live in Canada than the United States.
No, I do think in retrospect that I made the right decision, though. Canadian democracy has not crumbled to the same degree.
Well, what time is it? So far, so good here.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. Stay tuned. So you come here. So is it computer sciences? Is that what you're studying?
Yes.
Okay, you're at Waterloo. You're studying computer sciences. So where's the moment? What makes you decide? Screw this. I'm going to tell jokes for a living.
I was working in California at Apple for 8 months as part of the co-op program. I had a bunch of time off. I've done music for most of my life. Like I grew up singing in choir, and then even during my university degree, I was doing open mics all the time. So then I was doing this open mic for music in California, and I went on the wrong day. It turned out to be a comedy open mic.
That's funny.
And I just kind of like ranted for 5 minutes. I had seen stand-up before, but I had never done stand-up. So the only comics I saw were like George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, and like maybe 1 or 2 others. And so that's all I knew of what stand-up was. So I just kind of yelled for 5 minutes and I got 1 laugh, but that was enough.
Imagine if you had 0 laughs, I feel like you might have found a way to justify continuing.
I feel like it was the yelling that I enjoyed.
By the way, I have it. So thank you to Jeremy Hopkin, who's on the live stream and would like to share that the Lisa you're talking about is an FOTM as well. I've had her on the show. She came on of Darren Frost. Lisa Baker.
Yes, Lisa Baker. Sorry, Lisa. She's lovely.
She's got the maritime accent, right?
It was funny because I was the Indian dude on the debate and my accent was still the more understandable one.
Fill your boots, Lisa.
And she said that herself, so okay.
Too funny. And welcome Casey to the live stream too, who Casey, I think she's shaming you for not knowing the spoons. She says everybody should know the spoons. But you're a young man. Maybe you don't know new wave music from the early to mid 80s.
It's okay. You can send me a playlist and I'll listen to it. And I will send you a playlist of all Hindi songs and accuse you of not knowing any of them either.
Okay, I'm going to, you mentioned music. So we obviously, it's wild that Waterloo sent you to work for Apple. That's kind of cool too. But you're in California working for Apple. You accidentally are at a open mic for stand-up. But prior to that, can I ask you about the music? So we're going to play you singing. You got a beautiful singing voice. But so you've just always been a singer? Was this something you would do professionally or just as a hobby? Tell me about you and singing.
I did both. I also grew up playing piano and playing guitar. So then I had those, and so then during some of my university degree, I was playing music just at open mics. Then I found some friends that became my roommates, that then became my bandmates. So then we would play together. I think we did a few gigs together. We used to be called the Jaded Students. And then we realized very quickly that that kind of had an expiration date because we were only going to be students for so long. So then we switched to calling ourselves the Little Berlin Band because Kitchener, where we were, used to be called Berlin.
Right.
And then we just kind of, and then the other two guys, I attended one of their weddings this past weekend. Okay. I was a groomsman. And then the other two guys, they started a production company together that still works out of Kitchener called Good Company.
Okay.
And they are doing like production contracts with the city of Kitchener and the city of Waterloo right now.
Very, very cool. By the way, the new kids on the block didn't drop the kids when they became, 40, 50-year-old men. They're still kids. So I feel like you could just be the students or whatever. But
that's true.
I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, I want to play a minute of something I pulled from your YouTube channel, and it has you singing. So let's listen to this.
You know when you send somebody you like a text message and then you spend the night waiting for them to text back but it doesn't look like it's happening? In English people say, she's ghosting me. But Hindi and Urdu are over there like, मैंने किसी को दिल दे के कर ली, रातें खराब देखो, आया नहीं अभी तक उधर से कोई जवाब देखो, वो ना कहेंगे तो खुद खुशी भी कर जाऊंगा मैं यारों, वो हाँ कहेंगे तो भी खुशी से मर जाऊंगा मैं यारों, तो गाओ ओम शांति ओम शांति शांति ओम शांति ओम shanti shanti om.
Now, of course, there's subtitles on the video, no subtitles here on the podcast, but tell the listenership, give us a vibe of what you were singing there.
The lyrics kind of mean because I have messaged you and not received a response, I have essentially ruined my own night because now I'm going to sit at home thinking about why there has been a lack of response. And then it goes, if I could have you, if I don't have you, I'll die of sadness. But if I do have you, I'll kill myself of pleasure. So I'm dead either way. And then the rest of it is just a chorus of the song. But that's essentially like a translation of what's going on.
Okay, so first and foremost, I got to compliment you on your singing voice. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
We might hear a little more later. And if you ever just want to burst into song, just feel free, okay?
There is English music on my YouTube as well. Just letting you know. It's actually old music too. It's Sam Cooke. I did a cover of Bring It On Home.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I have some. Now, pardon me for my ignorance because I am mildly stupid, which listeners know that. But so you were singing in Hindi?
Yes, that was Hindi/Urdu, but Hindi.
Okay, yeah. Hindi or Urdu. Okay, and you call these, is this part of your Desi translation series?
Yes, that is, yeah.
Okay, so help me, so what exactly does that mean, Desi translations?
So when I was working at Apple, I was working as a production manager for the software localization, which means what does this piece of software look like in another country? For example, if you pick up a phone call in China, the red is actually supposed to signify positive, not negative, right? Because the colors change. Or think about when text is supposed to scroll on your Apple Watch or something. If you're in a country where the script is not left to right, it's right to left and has to scroll the other direction, right? So it's like you're localizing that software to that particular place. But it's not about translating the text. It's about translating the context. So this series is similar in that vein, is it's not about translating the lyrics, it's about translating the context within which the lyrics are placed. So then there in a way where other people can also understand. And it's great for Indians because these are like older songs, a lot of them. And so it's a bit of a throwback and they never really know what the song is going to be. But then also it's like when you translate verbatim word for word what the song is, it sounds really silly because the language is more poetic. So the words sound a little too colorful. But so then you have to introduce the context within which those words are placed. So then the whole thing becomes a translation.
Well, I went down the Desi translations rabbit hole the other night. Okay, so if you're okay, I'm going to play another one. Now, I'm not going to play all of this because it goes about 6 minutes, but
Yeah, there's 80 of them.
there's a lot. So tell people where online they could find this great material.
So on my Instagram would be the easiest place because they're all labeled 1 to 82. It's at Ashwyn Singh on Instagram, and my first name is spelled ASHWYN.
Does any idiot out there see your first name and assume you are a woman?
I don't know.
Because the WYN, no.
It's possible, but I feel like as soon as they see me, the assumption dies. So it never really gets to me that they made that assumption.
Gotcha. Okay, let's play a little bit of, I think this is actually volume 1.
In Hindi, you can blackmail your friends out of their sadness. In English, all you can do if your friend is sad is, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If you need anything, you let me know. I'm here for you. In Hindi, you can go think about how sad I would be if you are sad. Thereby blackmailing them out of their sadness, because what kind of friend lets their other friend be sad, which is the whole reason you started this blackmail to begin with. Just walk up to your sad friend like, सोच जरा जाने जा तुझको हम कितना चाहते हैं रोते हैं हम भी अगर तेरी आंखों में आंसू आते हैं. And the audacity of this man that is singing in full key to be like, गाना तो आता नहीं है मगर फिर भी हम गाते हैं कि अदिति मारा कभी कभी सारे जहां में अंधेरा होता है लेकिन रात के बाद ही तो सवेरा होता है. Hey, good job, guys.
Okay, so I have a question about that. So, are these crowds, are they typically Indian Canadians? Like, how is it that the crowd knows the words to these songs?
What is something playing in the background? I still hear.
Yeah, it was still there.
Oh, nicely done.
Only after rejection are you like,
You could be like the conductor here.
No, you don't have to play it. I was just like, I just still hear it. Can you ask me the question again?
Oh, okay, yes, my apologies. So, your crowd, is it typically Indian Canadians? Because I noticed the whole crowd seems to know the words to your song.
So that show was in Bangalore, India.
Okay, well that explains it.
But there is a whole other video on my YouTube, volume 2 on YouTube. That one was recorded at Comedy Bar Danforth in Toronto.
Okay.
And that one is like 50-50, like half Indian / Pakistani / brown people, and the other half is like white people. And then they just kind of sit back and they're like, oh my God, what's happening?
Right.
And then they see it. Like on the thing is, I posted that the thing that you just played, which is, I think that's translation number 54, which is one of my favorites. I posted it on TikTok, and TikTok is banned in India. So Indians couldn't really see it, but there were so many white people in the comments like, I always thought it was a myth that Indians just randomly break out into song, but I see this happening.
Like in a Bollywood movie or something.
And it's like, it's because, so these songs are from a time where our version of pop culture was watching the movie and then talking about the movie the next day, and you're the uncool kid in school if you haven't seen the movie. It's not like today where there's like a trillion or like a billion zettabytes of content generated every day, and you can't possibly all be consuming the same thing. We all didn't have different algorithms. And so there is a nostalgia involved with these songs for Indians, where they will, not only are they like listening to figure out what song it is, but then they sing along. So the live version of the translations for me is actually a lot more fun because it allows me to mesh just this like online content with stand-up, where like it brings in a different audience to watch my stand-up that hasn't seen stand-up comedy before. Like I'll get a lot of people at my shows, especially in India, going, I've never seen stand-up comedy before. I just saw you, and so now I've come to... This is what I mean about...
That's cool.
The kind of links to the JFL question, which is like, JFL knows about me now, but these Indians that came to see those shows, they still don't know about JFL.
Right.
So it's like I'm happy. Like there is industry acceptance, and then there is the acceptance of people just like watching you, and they are almost always mutually exclusive.
So if you have a successful show on September 24th at Comedy Bar, and that's September 24th, 2025, if you're listening in the far off future, which happens quite a bit. So if you have a successful show, does Just for Laughs then, is there more headlining appearances? Like does Yuck Yuck say, hey, we want you to headline? Like where do you go from there, assuming it will be a successful show for you and there's no reason to think it won't be?
So this is a favor that Mr. Breslin, the
FOTM Mark Breslin,
the owner of Yak Yaks, did for me, where comedy is a very rebellious profession, and then as soon as you get successful for being rebellious, the industry expects you to fall in line, and you're like, that is not how I got here.
Right.
So why do you think that that's what I'm going to do? So I had been sending these emails to do Yak Yaks' amateur night. This is like years ago, and I really wasn't getting any responses back. And so one day I just got really annoyed, and I was like, what could Mr. Breslin's email possibly be? And it's mark@yakyaks.com. It's like the easiest email to just happen upon. So I just kind of tried it, and I said, Mr. Breslin, this is my 5-minute set. I've been emailing and I haven't been getting a response. If you like it, I would love to come do a set at Yak Yaks. And I wasn't getting a response from the amateur email, but like a day later, Mr. Breslin was like, hey, I like the yoga instructor joke. You're on the next showcase in January or something. And I did like 8 minutes for him. And then he usually, I don't know if he does it with everybody, but that day he was doing it with everybody. He was talking to all of us one by one in his office. And he asked me, so what do you have going on? And I said, well, I have this tour planned and I'm going to be selling my own tickets. And I'm using social media and advertising. And I like, it's all like self-funded and self-produced. And I'm going on a Canadian tour, and then I'm going to India for a tour. And Mr. Breslin said, so what is it that you wanted from me? And I had not thought about that. It's like,
he's like, what can I do for you? Because you're actually I think you're doing it. And I talked to Darren Frost and Lisa Baker and these kind of people, and Kenny Robinson, for example. I think you got to roll your own.
And I think that's what it is. I think I'm very happy to see that I now have friends that are in the industry, that are of the industry, that understand what I'm trying to do, that believe in what I'm trying to do. Because honestly, anything that I'm doing from here on out, especially a lot of the bigger stuff that I have planned for me, that I want for me, I cannot be expected to do alone. I just can't do it alone. And the truth is, even if I turned back and tried to say with some arrogance, like, oh, I did the rest by myself, I didn't. I had family members that supported me and friends that told me which jokes were bad.
It takes a village.
Yeah, and I'll never admit it to them, and I'm not naming names or anything.
They're not listening.
Yeah.
This is a safe space.
So there is that part of it. I do think many more comedians today are having a go at it just by themselves using social media than the industry would let in like 10 years ago.
And I think that's a good thing. So what I'm going to do now, if you're cool with this, I'm going to bring you back we're going back to California. What's that? Going to Cal? It's a Led Zeppelin song. And I just remembered on Led Zeppelin 4, which was the only, and again, I got many, many years on you, if people don't know, but the only Led Zeppelin, anything I ever owned in my entire life was I owned the CD of the Led Zeppelin, the album known as Led Zeppelin 4. And I had that one because it had Stairway to Heaven on it and had a Black Dog and Rock and Roll. But it also had a song on it called Going to California. Anyway.
I thankfully do know Led Zeppelin. You'll be surprised if you try to guess what my favorite song was in 8th grade growing up in New Delhi, India.
Okay, I'm going to guess it's Back in Black by AC/DC.
It was Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Fucking love Guns N' Roses. Kidding me?
So it's weird. Like I have this weird, like my dad brought home this CD called The Great College Classics, and that he used to listen to, and it had like the Scorpions, like Rock You Like a Hurricane, and it had like
a German band.
Yeah, and like Moni Moni and Led Zeppelin Stairway, and then Pink Floyd and all of. And my favorite song to play on piano is Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
So like I like blues and I like old music. I don't know all of it. I think I skew a little bit older than most people my age, but I also like consume a lot more music than most people. So there is that. But I had this weird connection to the English language for that reason too. Like when I was doing open mics, my first few years in university, people would come up to me afterwards and they would exclaim in surprise, "Your accent vanishes when you're singing." And I'm like, "No, that's a different language, dummy. It's music is the language. It's not the same thing." Like even today, people will come up to me after a show and they'll go, "Oh, your Indian accent is far more pronounced when you are on stage than when you are off stage. Is it an act?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just not talking to you specifically when I'm on stage. This is the act. That is what I sound like." And it's just like language is for communication. So when I'm talking to one specific person, I become, and unconsciously, I'm not trying to.
No,
do it.
you adopt the cadence maybe of the person you're talking to, or this
and
style.
I honestly try not to, because it makes me feel like I'm leaving myself behind sometimes. But on stage, it's like 100% self-expression that is not being censored or changed for anyone.
You know what? I find this very interesting because I notice if my mother is speaking to a new Canadian who is from, let's say, from Italy, and my mom, born and raised in Toronto as well, as was her parents and her grandparents. Like I don't know how many generations back, but they're all from Ontario, Canada here. But she'll start to have a little bit of an Italian accent. Like I can hear it. And I always say to her, I said, and I don't think she's conscious of it either, but she starts to adopt the accent of the person she's talking to. Like this is the thing she does. And I'll be like, where does that Italian accent come from when you're talking to somebody with a strong Italian accent?
I think it'd be very funny if we caught your mom in a conversation with like a black dude from Harlem. She's trying to
she's talking jive? Like June Cleaver in Airplane?
Yeah, you suddenly just like switch to like what maybe Chris Tucker sounds like in one of the Jackie Chan movies. Like it would be hilarious.
Oh my God. Speaking of Airplane, I just got invited to see a free preview of the new Naked Gun, and I'm going to do this. Like this is Thursday morning at like 10 a.m., a perfect time for popcorn, and I'm going to bike over and watch the Naked Gun. But I have, and again, much older than you, but I have such fond memories of seeing the original Naked Gun in theaters and basically laughing harder than I'd ever laughed in a theater before. I'm a little bit worried about them trying to reboot this thing. Not that it really matters, except I have the great comedic memories of the original Naked Gun.
You want them not to ruin.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, and I'm hoping it's good. And Liam Neeson sounds like a good choice and all. But man, what a funny movie I found that original Naked Gun to be.
Yeah, it does bring up like a conundrum that I've always had in my head, which is like George Carlin famously left half of his audience behind with every new special because he would offend the exact other type of people. Yeah. Right? Like it's like Bill Burr went on a podcast recently and I think he was on Fallon, and he was like, you can always offend one group of people very easily. The art isn't how to offend people together. So he was like you have to craft a statement that offends both parties. Like I would go on Twitter and say, Donald Trump is such a bad president, he's almost going to make me vote for a woman. And he's like, and then you just sit and watch back as everybody burns in a fire that you're making, and I think it's important a little bit because you don't the audience, they know what they want, but that doesn't mean that that's what you needed to say. Right. So, and it's like and the audience, it's the same thing as industry, right? Yeah. Industry is great at doing something a second time, but not the first, because there's no trust. So like they want something that works and makes money, and you want to make something you're excited about. And those are sometimes mutually exclusive. Like you want to do something new, they want to do something that they think it's like new faces. Okay, they're not actually new faces. They're the oldest of the new faces that you can get. And so it's like I know what my audience loves, and then I write a new show and I'm like, I don't think they're gonna like this one.
Yeah, because they want you to broaden, right?
Yeah, but they just want more of what they've already seen. So sometimes I will get people going like, I loved your joke about the English test when you immigrated. And I was like, yes, but that was 5 years ago. I have permanent residence now and acceptance from people. And I don't really need to talk about, I talk about immigration still, but I don't have to talk about the test of English anymore.
Well, it's true. Because you're writing about what you know, what your lived experiences.
I'm writing about what annoys me. And that keeps
and
changing.
that changes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me. Interesting, like, and how much control going forward, like, if you'll be, hey, and I'm making this up, of course, but like, oh, we like that you're Indian Canadian. Can you be a little less Indian or a little less Canadian? Like, it'd be interesting if they try to like play with these gears or something and kind of steer you, and how strong you are that you can remain, loyal to yourself and true to yourself.
Well, and the answer is yes, but not for you, for me.
Right.
If I do a show in Prince George or something, like, I know what material I'm going to drop and what material I'm going to start with to get them on my side, and what I'm saying to challenge them. I'm reading the room. I know what's the challenging idea for them, but it's like, I'm doing it because I want to do it. If somebody asked me to do it, it would it's very like, I was in Dubai and they were like, don't do jokes about Islam, and I was like, I wasn't going to, but now I have to.
I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, once you tell me not to do something, guess what I'm gonna do? Like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and it's like, I love and hate this about comedians, but I also love and hate this about society, which is like, people who disagree with you just to make you feel like, just to make themselves feel like they're having an impact. Right. Like, you walk into a room going, I think I'm ugly, and people are like, why would you say that? You're beautiful. You walk into the same room like, I am handsome, and they're like, you're not that handsome. It's got nothing to do with how handsome you are. It's just like, they just want to go the other way.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. So I think an hour ago I said I was going to California, and I am going to California with you here. Can I shout out a couple of partners here, and then we'll get you back to California? I just want to ask some questions about this
Yes, sir.
this career of yours. And I like that you're calling me sir. But I'm not exactly comfortable. Like, I hear it, and I notice, I feel myself, like my back gets up, like it's like a cop pulled me over for speeding or something. You know what I mean? That's when you hear sir.
I'm a little old school.
Okay, well, call me sir if you wish. I won't take offense there. But we'll get back to California. But a couple of little things. One is, do you find yourself, Ashwyn, spending time during the summer particularly, but spending time at Harbourfront on Toronto's waterfront? Do you ever get out to the Toronto Island or Trillium Park? And just curious about any time you've spent on
I've done all
waterfront.
of these things exactly once. And I did the Harbourfront once because one of my friends wanted to go, and so I went. I went to Toronto Island for my best friend's bachelor party, and we went to the nude beach.
Hanlon's Point, yeah, the nude beach.
During Pride Month, this boy took us. I was like, this is part of I haven't released it because I don't have the video yet. I did a speech at his wedding where I was like, yeah, he took us to a nude beach during Pride Month. And after sampling the variety that Toronto had to offer, we were convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that his fiance is the best he was ever going to do. I'm not very...
That's an interesting idea, though, for like a bachelor party or whatever to go to a nude beach. And that's the only one I know of in the 416.
Well, it's like it's like if you wanted to go to a strip club but only use your eyes.
Right.
That's what it is.
It's funny you mentioned. So when was this? The most recent Pride Parade? Was this?
Yeah, this year. And so then, but yeah, that was also the wedding that made me feel Canadian. Because I was I said this at the wedding too, where I was like, I've never, after 10 years of living in Canada, never stopped and said to myself, that the last thing I did, that was very Canadian of me. But then I was a groomsman at my friend's wedding, and I asked him, what's the dress code? And he said, we're doing a tan suit and cognac shoes and a beige tie. And I was like, anything that doesn't violently clash with my skin color. And I was like, so now I'm standing in front of 100 people that all look like they're at war with the sun while wearing different shades of myself. I was like, this is very Canadian of me.
Well, welcome to Canada. Okay, well, I was actually just this past Friday, I spent some time on Toronto Island. I had a really cool tour of Toronto Island. Quick aside, though, is there's this, I guess it's near Hanlon's Point. It's called Muggs Island, and there's Snake Island. There's like 15
There's
islands.
a few islands, yeah.
But people only talk about the same, like it's Ward's Island, Center Island, Hanlon's Point, whatever. But there are these birds called cormorants. They've been invading this part of the Toronto Islands. And there's like literally thousands of these things, and they kind of go on these trees, but they eat seafood, and they're what's the proper word for this? Guano, but I'll call it shit, okay? Their shit is acidic. And not only is their shit destroying the trees, I took photos, like completely destroying the canopy of trees on the island, but it is the most rancid smell. Like, I'm telling you, you're like, okay. And then there's like a yacht club, and I'm like, oh, they have to smell this the whole time. But these cormorants, and I was talking to my tour guide, who happens to be known as Professor Pricklethorn. He's an arborist, so he's a big tree guy. And he's like, we have to do something. He's telling me, we need to do something. You can't, obviously, you're not going to get away with killing these birds. No one wants you to hurt the birds. But you need to do something to make them so uncomfortable. They go back to the Leslie Spit where they were kind of coexisting fine. But the cormorants are becoming a huge issue on Toronto Island.
You think the trees that have already been on the island look at the birds like, oh, these immigrants, they don't respect the culture, they don't speak the language.
Except they're not immigrants because apparently they're indigenous to the region. But they just never were on the island till a couple of years ago. So
I love that you said indigenous as part of this analogy.
They're indigenous. That's the term. So, okay, so obviously the cormorants, they smell, they're ruining the trees, but, don't hurt the cormorants. But I'm here to tell you that on the main shore, on the Toronto, I guess, what do you call that? The real, I don't know, the non-island Toronto, what's that called? The mainland? Yes, the mainland. We'll call it the mainland. There is a festival happening August 8th to the 10th called the Habari Africa Festival. You can celebrate African culture in Toronto. It's an incredible cultural experience. A vibrant, multidisciplinary African arts festival returning to Toronto. It's free. It's all ages. It offers a fantastic weekend of rich art, tastes, and sounds from the African continent. So if you're looking for something to do, Ashwyn, August 8th to 10th, the Habari Africa Festival at Harbourfront. Maybe you can make a return trip. So you can jot that down. Something to do in the big city. Have you ever been to a Toronto Maple Leafs baseball game at Christie Pitts?
I have not.
Shame on you. Get out of my basement. No, I'm just letting you know. It's a free event. I was there Saturday night at 7:30. There's a game next Saturday as well. And it was a really thrilling game. We had a big third inning. I think we put 7 runs on the board. We won. Great baseball. The price is perfect because it costs you nothing. Get a beer, get a hot dog, enjoy the game on the hill. I want all the listeners to know what's going on at Christie Pitts this month.
You think they'll appreciate my Maple Leafs joke?
Tell me your Maple Leafs joke.
Well, I was like, I think it's very funny when people are like, this is the political party I have always voted for. This is the political party I will continue to vote for. And I'm like, it's politics. There's no brand loyalty. You don't have to keep supporting the same people even if they keep failing you. It's not the Maple Leafs. So, sorry.
No, listen, I'm 51 years old, and I've never seen the hockey team, the Leafs hockey team. I've never seen them make the finals, and I come back every spring again. So you're right, this loyalty is unnecessary, but here we are. Okay, I want to welcome a new sponsor to the program, Blue Sky Agency. They forged partnerships with established office furniture brands like Silent and Green Furniture Concept and Rouliard, and Doug Mills from Blue Sky Agency. He's eager to chat with any and all Toronto Mike listeners who are looking for dynamic and creative work environments. So write Doug at blueskyagency.ca. Thank him for partnering with Toronto Mike and sponsoring the program, and let him know you're an FOTM and start the conversation. So thank you to Blue Sky Agency. Thank you to Ridley Funeral Home. I have a measuring tape for you. Ashwyn, by the way, not only do I have that measuring tape for you from Ridley Funeral Home, I mentioned the Leafs. I have a history book on the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team if you want to catch up on what you've missed there at Christie Pitts.
Wow.
And do you drink beer?
I do drink beer.
I have fresh craft beer for you from Great Lakes Brewery. One of these is not a beer because the Hot Pop is actually a non-alcoholic beverage. But take that home and let me know what you think of Great Lakes beer. I think it's the most delicious craft beer in this country.
Thank you for the 0 sugar, 0 calorie. This is going to help.
It's going to help you out. That's the Hot Pop, everybody. I guess they can't make a 0 calorie beer. They're probably working on it right now.
They have a couple 0 calorie vodka sodas. I don't think they have a 0 calorie.
And I think they have a vodka soda at Great Lakes Brewery, actually. So you're good at this. Okay, good on this. All right, let's get back to California here. I'm just curious. So you accidentally are at a
Yes.
open mic for comedy. You do your thing, and then somebody laughs. So what happens? You just have a moment of like, I want to do this?
It was more like I could do this. See, this is the weird thing. I never had like a coming to moment where I was like, this is what I meant to do with my life. It was just like I started one day and then it just never stopped. And for me, stand-up has always been like people go, where does it come from? And I was like, I identify as annoyed. I am annoyed, and I would
Things
like
annoy
to
you.
explain to you why I am annoyed and that the reason is you. And I want you to enjoy this explanation and let me leave the room with my life intact. Right? I think it was Oscar Wilde. It was like, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh while you're doing it or they'll kill you. So it comes from that. It's just, I want to express, and it's something different every year. I just get annoyed. And for me, it's like the process of editing. So it's like if you went into an argument with like a friend or a stranger and you left feeling like you lost the argument, not because you weren't right, but because you didn't get out or properly convey what it is that you really wanted to say to them. And so then at home, while you're in the shower, you're like, I could have said this. I would have said this. In your dreams, you're like, I would have said this. In comedy, you get to say that.
Right.
In comedy, you can go, that didn't quite work the way I wanted, and because the room behaved in this specific way, and so you get to go home and edit, and you can go, you can make your explanation perfect. Then you can record it, cut it into a reel, and send it to the friend that annoyed you.
But do you start writing these thoughts you have, because I also am annoyed by things and people, and now I'm wondering if I should follow your lead here. By the way, I've been to Oscar Wilde's birthplace in Dublin, and I've been to his where he's buried in Paris. So there's my little Oscar Wilde contribution to the conversation. But like, do you start writing and then you go to open mics to like, how do you start? Like, I don't even know where you begin. You're working for Apple.
For me, it usually starts here.
Notes.
It's I have, this is Google Keep. At Apple it was Apple Notes or whatever, and now it's literally just like wedding jokes. I think they're all just thoughts.
Yeah.
If anybody open my, like, if they ever confiscate my phone at airport security, I won't get in trouble for my Google Photos. I'll get in trouble for my Google Keep. Because it's very like, why do we judge promiscuity loudly but adultery silently?
Right.
It's men will buy queen-sized bed, one pillow. And it's lazy because the queen combo has 2 pillowcases. And they're like, this winner of a Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike contest. And it just keeps going. Like, it's just like little
you're
thoughts.
blowing my mind because and again, I don't do stand-up, but I'm now thinking I should start. But I have these shows, like we have a recurring show called Toast, and I often will talk about how different songs are connected and different things. But this is basically on a bike ride, I have the thought. And then I because I have a hands-free headset on, I literally say, okay, Google, take a note. And now that I say that, I feel like I'm going to wake her up. In fact, my phone's doing it right now. So, and then okay, Google, stop. So then I'll leave the note, and then once in a while I pop into my Google Keep and I see all the notes, and then I start kind of going from there. So you and I are we kind of work the same way. You have the thought, you just put it in the Google Keep, and that's where you can make sure you can pull it later and extrapolate.
Yeah.
Okay, we're the same. We're close. We're the same. Do you like Italian food?
I love Italian food.
Do you like lasagna?
I do like lasagna.
Would you like a frozen lasagna from Palma Pasta?
I will take it.
Okay, that's a raving endorsement. Okay, so I got to give you something with the beers. So I want to just make sure you leave with a Palma Pasta lasagna that goes with your beer. And I want you to have a tip here, which is if you have old cables, old electronics, maybe an old iPhone that hasn't worked in 7 years, don't throw that in the garbage because the chemicals end up in our landfill. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your postal code, and find out where you can drop all of that off to be properly recycled so the chemicals do not end up in our landfill. You got it?
I got it.
Okay, so you're taking these notes in Google Keep, and then you're writing your material, but how do you end up, like, for example, how do you end up on Canada's Got Talent? How do you get to a point where you're on The Debaters? I know this is a longer, but maybe you got a Reader's Digest version of how you go from a guy who accidentally ended up at an open mic for stand-up and now is on, things like, is headlining a Just for Laughs.
I will tell you this. I don't know if this is how it goes for everybody, but the Debaters emailed me. when they saw a joke of mine that went viral on TikTok that I had written. Canada's Got Talent emailed me when they saw a joke of mine that did really well. It might have actually even been the same joke. And so I have reached out to these people before. Like I have emailed people before and they have not responded to me. And then a year later, they will see something else of mine and then respond to that email like, oh, I didn't see this. And I was like, yeah, you did. You just ignored it, which is fine. So and I'm not saying this is what works for everybody, but the only thing that has ever worked for me is just like, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, it sounds like the role of social media is everything in your career. Like social media. And I did see in your bio, and again, I don't know if you're printing the legend or if this is true. You look like a trustworthy guy. But it says in your bio that your Desi Translations series has over 40 million views.
Yes, combined, more than that now. Yes.
See, so I think what's happening now is the mainstream, if you will, the old school mainstream, the CBC producers of the debaters, and the people who are behind Canada's Got Talent, and the people at Just for Laughs, and the people, even at people at Yuck Yucks to a point. Like, I think now they're now seeing what's getting traction on TikTok and other social media sites, and then they're like, we want to leech off that. Like, it's kind of flipped.
I also just think they wouldn't know what I'm about or how I'm. It's like when you're an artist and you're beginning and you're doing something new, you get annoyed that people don't see your vision for what you want to do, but you're doing something new. So if they did, it would already exist in a way and you wouldn't need to do it. So it's just that at some point you hit critical mass and people start, like, the people that believe in you at the beginning of your career are very different from the people that believe in you 10 years in. And because the people that believe in you, the 10 years in people, they just believe in the people that believe in you.
or they believe in the 40 million views.
Yeah, like so I'm like, all of the peripherals, they'll go away as easily as they came in. So I try not to put any faith in industry for that reason.
But you still need industry. Like, I guess we did touch on this earlier, but maybe because I'm a fiercely independent guy who leaves, who will leave money on the table just to kind of do it myself or whatever. But like, are you at the point now where you realize, oh, I don't need CBC. I don't need Just for Laughs. I don't need Yuck Yucks. I don't need Canada's Got Talent. Like, you don't need these people.
I am glad all of these places found me or I found them and we started working together when I was in a position to be able to say no, because now I don't feel beholden. And if I have a joke that I really want to tell, somebody tells me I can't tell it, I can still tell it by myself. So it would have been much, much different if I had found them like 2 years in. I feel like I would have been in a different position. They would have had more power over me than I would have wanted them to have, and I would have not enjoyed it. Now it's like I'm working with all of these people and they are okay with me doing what I want to do. So I'm happier this way.
Well, I'm happy for you, and I'm that's an inspiring story to be honest. From where I sit over here, but now I realize here, I know I said I'd take an hour. I'm taking a little longer. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You don't have like a dentist appointment or something in 15 minutes?
I just have to be at Comedy Bar for 1 p.m.
Okay. Was that right? Okay. We don't have long to go here, except I realize I now have a very funny stand-up in my basement here in the TMDS studio, making his Toronto Mic debut. Welcome to the club, Ashwyn. And now I realize you're from India. You're an Indian Canadian. Are you now a citizen of Canada?
Permanent resident.
Okay, so it's the next step is citizenship? Is that something on your radar?
It's on the radar.
You still testing the waters?
I'm hesitant to give away any degree of my identity for any something else. So the philosophical idea of like giving away an Indian passport, I don't know if it feels just right for me yet, but it might happen.
Is that the deal? Like, you can't keep both?
Yeah, I can't have a dual citizenship. I think Canada allows it, but India doesn't.
Right.
I feel too connected to both people. And right now, permanent residence just feels like this is the way in which I'm connected to. Like, I get to be connected to both Canadians and Indians the way I have it right now. At some point, it will change because honestly, it is easier to go to a lot of places with the Canadian passport. So it will be a decision. I believe I am already eligible for the citizenship, but also if Canadians think and say that I am Canadian, that is all the verification I need.
Permanent resident sounds like enough of a commitment. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going steady here. We're
Yeah.
engaged. To
I
be
mean, I
married.
tell the jokes and I'm like, you know what the word permanent and permanent resident means? It means if you don't like this, I stay.
the big P there. So the reason I bring up the fact that you're Indian is because listeners of this show know how much I have loved The Simpsons since I saw them on the Tracy Ullman show. So we're going back to like 87.
Are you gonna ask me an Apu question?
I'm gonna ask you. Yeah, like what are you gonna do? You can storm out here. That's also a little fantasy I have, by the way. This is episode 1,700. I gotta go check the notes, but it's 17 something. At some point, a guest is going to be pissed off enough to storm out of here, right? Right? Because that will happen eventually, right? Like I always treat all my guests with respect, and I don't want you to do it for show. Like it's got to be a sincere, authentic storm out. But one day, I'm going to say something, or we're going to have a conversation where the guest will storm out. Like that's a numbers game, right?
I think so, but I don't think it'll be a comedian.
It won't be you, and it won't be now. But I'm going to play a bit of Apu. And then we're going to talk about Apu, and you'll say whatever you want. But I have a couple of questions, okay? So here's I think this might be my favorite, actually, of all the Apu anythings on the history of The Simpsons. I think this is my favorite.
You see, whether igloo, hut, or lean-to, or a geodesic dome, there's no structure I have been to which I'd rather call my home.
Hello!
When I first arrived, you were all such jerks, but now I've come to love your quirks. Maggie with her eyes so bright, Marge with hair by Frank Lloyd Wright, Lisa can philosophize, Bart's adept at spinning lies, Homer's a delightful fella, sorry about the salmonella.
That's okay.
Who needs the quickie mart? Now here's the tricky part. Oh, won't you rhyme with me? Who needs the quickie mart?
Their floors are sticky mart. They made that sticky mart. Let's hurl a bricky mart.
The quickie mart is real dope!
Who needs the quickie mart?
Not me.
Forget the quickie mart. Goodbye to quickie mart. Who needs the quickie mart?
Not me.
Everything really wrapped up nicely. Much quicker than usual.
I guess we learned that happiness is wherever you find it.
And we've all found happiness. Every one of us. Hey, what's that sound?
Who needs the quickie mart? I do.
Hey, he's not happy at all. He lied to us through song. I hate when people do that.
Ashwyn, you're a better singer than Apu. I've heard you both today. That's just my call, my personal opinion on that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And Apu, of course, voiced there by Hank Azaria, the only person who's ever voiced Apu on The Simpsons. Hank Azaria is a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Apu, considering he doesn't talk at all anymore? There is no more Apu on The Simpsons. I'm curious how you feel as an Indian stand-up comic.
Veer Das is another Indian comic that had a joke about Apu. He's talking specifically to like children of immigrants or people like Indians that live abroad with like accents of not Indians. He goes, Apu's accent isn't weird to me. Yours is. You are the weird. Because Akash Singh had a thing about like this guy is a doctor, or like he like the character like moved to America, like typical immigrant story, made something of himself. Why is this a racist character? It's like the most positive image of an immigrant you could have, I think. And then Hank Azaria himself was like, I think his take was that the character is okay, but maybe I shouldn't have been the one to voice it.
Right.
And then the accent itself was a little bit stronger. I think I don't think my accent is as strong as whatever that was. So I think there's I was literally, mimicry is an art form, right? It's part of comedy. I was just watching like a great Indian comic talk about mimicry, and his thing was, if you go to people and you mimic their accent perfectly, they don't get mad at you. They appreciate you for what you just did. It's when you get like 50% of the way or 70% of the way, but not all the way there, then it sounds like the thing is, an imperfect impression of somebody sounds like a caricature of that person, right? So that upsets them. Is like, because they go, this is not what I am. Do you think this is what I am? And sometimes the answer is no, I don't think that's what you are. I'm just not doing it well enough, right? So like, I don't think we should conflate imperfection or like somebody being bad at their job with somebody being racist at their job. That being said, I think it's not as great of an accent.
So if this character were voiced by a person of Indian descent, it would be okay?
I think the accent would be closer. And then the character itself, I haven't seen that much of The Simpsons, but the backstory of the character I don't find particularly offensive. I am also the wrong person to ask. I don't find anything particularly offensive.
Nothing offends you. So of course that poo is not going to offend you.
Yeah, like we could go into the philosophical ramifications of this happening. But if I saw the TV show, would I leave going like, this is bull? I don't care.
Okay, so let me ask you a different question, because like as I mentioned, this character has been deleted basically. Simpsons made a decision as a show that they weren't going to have people of color voiced by by white people basically.
Mm-hmm.
So they did recast a bunch of the roles. Like Dr. Hibbert, for example, is now voiced by a black man. They didn't recast Apu. They just sort of deleted Apu. And I guess I'm wondering if you were king for a day, king of the Simpsons here. Disney says you're in charge now. Okay, your dreams coming true here, Ashwyn. But like, would it be better to just keep Apu retired because we no longer want Apu voiced by Hank Azaria, or would you rather they resurrect Apu but just let somebody of Indian descent voice the character?
I don't know.
Those are your two options.
We would have to.
You're on the hot seat here.
I would poll all the Indians that watch The Simpsons and ask them, because
you don't watch.
Yeah, so like it would be a business decision, and like philosophically speaking, I would I would tell Hank to do a better accent. Honestly, I'd just be like, go learn the accent. If you can do it perfectly, I care about the skill,
right,
more than I care about the representation of it all, at least in this case.
Do you care at all about, forget Simpsons for a moment, put it aside, but do you care about representation of, you mentioned, I think you made a joke earlier about how if Indian people aren't here now, they're coming or something? Like there's basically, I made a crack that in Toronto, you'd think there'd be less racism. And I think my joke was, if you don't like brown people, you're going to have a bad time. Like, and then you're like, well, you're going to have a bad time anywhere. Do you care if there is representation of people of South Asian descent on other shows, like non-cartoon shows, but just on television, in movies?
Yes, but I don't think the solution is to stop people from doing something. I think the solution is to do it. I get to be the representation. I get to be Indian on stage in Canada and be Indian when I am doing so. Nobody can take my position, right? But I wouldn't go up to like a white comic doing an impression like an Indian accent and go, you shouldn't do that. Especially if they're doing it well. If they're doing it badly, I would say you shouldn't do that, but only because they're doing it badly. So it's like, whoever wants representation, the solution is like, build the thing, do the thing,
do it,
become the thing.
Right.
But to stop other people from pursuing like their creative expression, for me, it ends up falling into the same trap of policing and censoring things.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Write that in Google Keep. That's a good one.
I absolutely will not. You made me sound like Obama.
There's worse people to sound like.
Good point.
Oh, I miss Obama in his tan suit. Remember, that was the big Obama controversy. Fox News didn't like the fact he wore a tan suit.
Yeah, he violently clashed with the skin color of the country he lived in.
Ashwyn, this was a great chat, and I'm just like really happy for you that you're going to be headlining at the Comedy Bar on September 24th. That's for Just for Laughs. That's a big deal, man. You should feel proud.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that.
And how do people, are there still tickets? Can people come see you at the Comedy Bar on September 24th?
Yes, they can. Tickets just went live a couple days ago, so they can just go to Comedy Bar's website. It's comedybar.ca. They can just type in my name and they'll find the tickets.
And I went to your website to see where else are you going to be, and I see you're heading out west. There's a lot of West Canadian gigs, but then I see the odd there's a gig in India, so it's you're all over the place. So what is the name of your website where people can see?
So my website is ashwyn.me, ashwyn.me. I have a full Canada tour in September and October, every major city, and then a full India tour in November.
Are you going to Edmonton?
I am.
Okay, shout out to Edmonton. My two youngest kids are there right now, so I just wanted to shout out Edmonton. That's where they are right now. So,
Lovely.
Maybe they'll go back and see you there. But it's a shorter trip to see you at the Comedy Bar on September 24th. Thank you for that, and thank you for not storming out when I asked you about Apu.
This is bullshit.
Was it difficult? No, because you're easygoing guy. It's going to take a lot to offend you. I'm going to have to work harder. Your second appearance, I'll work harder on offending you and see if I can get you to finally storm out.
I look forward to it.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,740th show. Maybe my next guest will storm out. Go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to all who made this possible. That's Great Lakes Brewery. Ashwyn's got his craft beer here. He's taken home with him. Palma Pasta. I've got a lasagna in the freezer. Toronto's Waterfront BIA. There's so much to do on the waterfront this summer. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Blue Sky Agency, our newest sponsor. Welcome to the team. And Ridley Funeral Home. I see you using your measuring tape. What are you measuring over there?
I just wanted to see what 4 inches looks like.
See you all tomorrow. When Jeremy Hopkin drops by, we're going to talk about Sunnyside, the Pavilion, and more. A lot of great Toronto history is going to be dumped on the program tomorrow. Don't you dare miss it. See you then.